Hello,
Hello, hello. Hey, hello, hello.
guys and gents. This is Pillow Talk,
Yes.
brought to you by The Sofa. And I am Mr.
And I am Mrs.
And for those that don't know, we're not,
We're not on schedule.
no, we're extremely late with a couple of episodes, which we do apologize. But we're not, quote unquote, licensed, but more or less seasoned, I would call, because we've been through some things.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Do not follow any of the instructions to a T. They are purely based on our instructions. We ain't certified yet.
Yeah.
We getting there, you know.
Yeah.
We ain't got paper credentials or nothing like that.
And inspired relationship coaches. It's just
We're just a couple trying to struggle through the everyday struggles of couples and make it to a happy ending.
mm-hmm.
So, today's topic.
Triggers.
Yeah, we just experienced one. So this is a very honest podcast. Indeed. So, yeah. And we had our trigger was focusing time on this podcast. And I will admit that I probably was the cause of the trigger. Not really. It's not a major trigger, but it's just something that I should see as important to my partner for me to take the time out to focus on, what I promised you that we would do.
Well,
and you admitted that I seem to be distracted and not interested. And so that caused you to kind of be like frustrated because you want to be supportive and helping, but I can't just ignore your feelings. Because based on your past and on mine, we both have had issues with major triggers that got ignored and didn't get looked at or fixed or dealt with. So we are determined as a couple to find different ways to approach our triggers and get to a happy medium to make it as healthy as possible. So
you brought up that definition of triggers.
Yeah, the definition of triggers. It could be a small device or mechanism that is set off. So in a relationship, it could be a small act, words, actions, pretty much anything that can cause feelings of hurt, anger, and frustration. So I guess we would specifically be talking about trauma triggers, I guess, in a relationship. Trauma trigger is considered a psychological stimulus that promotes a recall of previous traumatic experiences. So a trigger is something like when my ex used to do a particular thing and then my current goes and does it. It kind of causes a trigger. It makes me mad, angry, or upset, and then it would go for anybody. It can be devastating if not dealt with. Like we said, it just really depends on how deep the trigger is and whether or not we catch it at the moment that it's happening.
So I guess it goes with identifying triggers when they're set off. Cause
I think we previously talked about a trigger before. We've made mention of it.
The trigger with the phone situation. So it's been a mention about it, but we never just dove in on an actual topic of triggering. And I personally feel, and it's just my opinion, that a lot of people suffer from that form of trauma triggers, and
the trigger can be anything. It doesn't have to be from a relationship. It could be from childhood. It could be from your parents. It could be from a random stranger. It could be anything. Though, or any relationship of any form.
And because it's not being dealt with, and you're taking it into another full-fledged relationship, it can become kind of dangerous in a sense, or it can be taken wrong. It definitely, if it's not talked about, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that don't know how to discuss.
Some people don't discuss why the trigger is the trigger for them in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like today we saw a TikTok about a girl, she was like, I moved in with my roommate and I didn't know that the behavior I was displaying was
stemming
from a traumatic trigger, or it didn't dawn on her that what she was doing was, based on her relationship with her mother, asking for permission to do things that are absolutely natural in a relationship.
So, and going back to the discussion about this, and I guess I can say my natural response because I have been ignored off of...
You just kind of shut down and push it to the side.
Yeah, as I said, maybe later, when she has time,
Right.
So, because again, I feel like and I look at it as in, sometimes I can be like, oh, come on, let's try this, come on, let's try that. And
you want it done now. And then I had to think about, too, and there are moments that I want you to do things, like, in the now, and they don't exactly get done in the now, and I'll be like, whatever, forget it, don't worry about it. And, again, that's not fair to either of us at the end of the day. So, yeah. Don't worry, we're not crying or anything. We just saw.
She ain't crying.
Working through the trauma.
So understanding your new partner isn't your old partner, if we're looking at it as in a relationship standpoint, meaning open up, figure out ways to, even if it's to going to a council and having a mediator, because again, some of the things that just may be a trigger just may be kind of harsh.
Right. You gotta be able to be a little bit vulnerable, to open up and be kind of honest. So this website is also like counseling marriage, or just something briefly that I came across. It's about counseling marriage, and it's got like a couple of ways to deal with triggers. So your triggers are your responsibility to ease and work through. It is not your partner's job to be more attentive, kind, open, or happy, or calm, and so on, so you won't be triggered. Meaning, it's not fair, like we were just saying, for your partner to just shut down and move away from this situation just because you're triggered. Like, you have to actually face the fact that I have a trigger. It's based on something that happened to me in the past, and I have to find a way to work through it. I can't expect Mister to just be like, oh, baby, it's okay, don't worry about it. It needs to be addressed, especially if it's an issue that's causing miscommunication between the two of us, or we're always getting angry and upset, or we're basically just ignoring and avoiding it. That is unhealthy. And it's going to blow up to be a bigger thing later on down the road. So, it says for the second one, work through your past hurts so they won't affect your present relationship, which is basically what I just said in the bubble.
Something that a lot of people refuse to do because it's in the past.
And that also goes along with understanding that your current partner is not your past partner. So just because they did it and you don't tell them that it's a trigger or a problem or an issue, then they won't necessarily know that that's something that they don't have to do. And again, if it's something simple, like, I can use our trigger for example. With my phone, I didn't really pay it any mind or attention that it was bothering him. But when he brought it to my attention, I try now to be more conscious of, not making sure I turn my phone upside down. But there are still some instances where I'm just like it's at night, we get into bed, just turn my phone upside down just because it silences the ringtone. It don't mean that I'm purposely causing a trigger or I want to purposely enrage or upset him or make him question something.
Also, but then at the same token, I have to realize that it is a trigger and she's not the ex. And I'm starting over and I have to trust her unless she gives me another reason not to trust her, and she hasn't given me a reason to not to trust her. So with her doing that, I can't just automatically say, oh,
you're doing it again.
Yeah. So I have to work on that myself as well, and I can't just expect her not to do that.
Right. And so the next bullet point is be aware of your reactions and the story that you make up in your head about your partner. Like, own it as what you make up. Your partner can acknowledge which part of it is true. So it's pretty much what you just said. Like, hey, are you doing that on purpose or not on purpose? Or is it something we need to discuss as to why you keep doing that? Or what can we do to prevent this from being a problem going forward? And again, honesty, communication.
I was going to say, yes, we do already know there are going to be some people that's going to be actually doing what the partner thinks that they're doing, and they're going to sit up here and be like, oh, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about? You're crazy. Yeah.
I
been there, done that.
I don't like using words like that in a argument.
Yeah.
You know, those make the triggers worse than they are, because they run deep. Those hurt pretty bad. You take the time to deal with your triggers so they don't escalate in communication. Resist from thinking of terms of always or never. Triggered feelings tend to be generalized. So you always doing it. You don't never do what I want to do. You always do what you want to do. Like, you don't never consider my feelings.
Yeah.
You always shut me down. Those are bad habits. Things we should unlearn.
Yeah.
You know, or relearn new habits in place of it. Change your reaction to the negative action.
The thing that we was watching about, I can't know her name, right? Fix My Life.
A young one, Fix My Life. Oh, how? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know, there's power in your words, especially if it's a verbal trigger for somebody. You know, you got to be able to reword yourself, communicate better. Hey, I need you to be this for me, or I need you to try to compromise with me and work on this for me or with me in so many ways, because a trigger takes two people. Because I wouldn't have known it was a trigger if we won't know it's a trigger until you tell me it's a trigger. Number one. Second of all, how we gonna deal with the trigger?
Yeah.
What's gonna resolve it or keep it from happening or make it feel less threatening in the future?
But like earlier, but there are sad cases that you might not know that it's a trigger until it happens.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in a different relationship, because you can be in the old relationship and those things happen and you just become complacent by those things. So it doesn't literally become the trigger until you're out of that relationship and you're introduced to something else. Very seldom, I believe, that people realize that it's a trigger in the current situation.
I agree. So we are fixing our trigger by me saying, hey, I have to take time to do those things that are important to my partner as well as myself, and vice versa. That way we won't have shutdowns and blow-ups, and the communication lines will be open and we can continue to be honest with each other.
Yeah, which I be trying, and I feel like sometimes
I don't on purpose, babe. Oh, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying, because you also stated that, you also be in your head, like, you be wanting me to do something.
Yeah, and then I have to slow down and consider, hey, he has other things he might want to do, or a different way he might want to do it, or he might have something else planned out,
But you never discuss it.
Discuss what?
What you just said? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we discussed, like, today I did a little better. Like, with the jury thing, I kind of let you know what I wanted you to try and do for me. Make it an effort to try and, because I have to realize I can't do it all by myself. I have to be considerate of your time to allow me to do the things that I want to do or need to do for, that.
Yeah.
I can't just assume that, because I got time and I want to do it now, that I got to do it now without considering your feelings. What? What's on your mind?
No, I was out. I don't know. I guess, again, it goes back to me saying where I was thinking I was being a little selfish myself. So, I guess I look at that moment where when you do get a little bogged down, I look at it as your form of detox. And
That's
then
okay,
I try and...
But then, again, I can't be overly selfish. I still have to say, hey, you got other people around you, make time. Sometimes this stuff that I be looking at and watching really don't be that much more important than what our purpose or goal is at the end of the day. So, yeah.
That was...
This triggered podcast topic was based off a real trigger. So, yeah.
Like I said before, we're a couple of episodes behind. So if you're listening to this episode, again, we do apologize, and we
hope it doesn't trigger anything.
We're working on catching up because we did change our day of posting, which is Wednesday. So after this recording, I'm gonna go ahead and just post this. But
we
definitely
might give y'all a couple of them back to back to back.
Yeah, they kind of catch up because we kind of like I said, a couple behind. So,
that's according to our time schedule. I'm pretty sure you guys are lenient and would love to hear from us whenever y'all hear from us.
Yep. Oh, and if you're listening to this and you don't know, we are on
IG
as Mr. and Mrs. Take Over the World, and we are finally on TikTok, which
the Sofa Real Talk.
It's Mr. and Mrs. Take Over the World, which we are wanting to. We was going to do the first episode like that, but it didn't pan out like that. But wanting to do one of the podcast episodes on a live on TikTok.
Oh, we did do a live, so
but yeah, we tragically failed.
we know what we were doing.
So yeah, we are gonna work on that, and so you just may hear us communicating with some of our followers on TikTok. If you're not one of those followers, let's listen to the podcast now. But again, Mr. and Mrs. Take Over the World on IG and Instagram. You have any closing?
Not really.
Good talking. Well, with that being said, guys, until the next episode, we shall see you guys later. Which we have them are actually we have the titles of the episodes. We just gotta work on them.
Yeah.
So you guys have a great day. Night.
Bye.